So you're having a pretty normal day until someone says something to you, or something happens, or I don't know, someone cuts you off in traffic, and that gives you a bad feeling. But sometimes that bad feeling can trigger more thoughts and more feelings, and that puts us in a bad, negative mood that lasts for several hours or maybe even a couple of days. And it's so annoying because when we feel like that, we just want to get out, we want to feel happy again, we want to distract ourselves from everything that's going on here or here. So we resort to numbing, to distractions, to running away, and then that eventually creates even more problems in our life. This is something that I've struggled with a long time, and I also see it with my clients. And in this video, I want to show you exactly what happens when we re-trigger that bad mood and keep it going on, and how to break that loop and what you can do about it right now to stop allowing those bad moods to ruin your day and your enjoyment of life. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Marius. I'm a personal development coach. I'm Romanian, I'm an ex-lawyer, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a dad, I'm the blah 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 introduction. I just want to make videos that I wish existed when I was going through my own issues. And in this video, I want to show you how we create those bad moods in ourselves and how we can take control and what exactly you can do right now to break that mood and start feeling better when something bad happens, when we get triggered. Now, obviously, this is not something we can condense in a very short YouTube video, but I'm going to try to make it as practical as possible. So if you have any questions, please comment this or like it so that other people can see it and can benefit from this knowledge, because this is just something that I want to tell my kid and I want everyone to know because it's just so easy to understand. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to draw this for you because my clients say that I have very good drawing skills and I want you to benefit from that as well. So I'm going to share my screen now. So this is you. Looks exactly like you, right? And as I've said, you're going about your day and then something happens, which is usually called the trigger, right? And this can be anything, like someone says something to you, you read something in the news, or someone cuts you off in traffic. It really doesn't matter. I'll just take an example from my life. A client rejects me. I have two businesses. One is selling tours in Romania, Romanian friend, and my other one is my coaching business. So dealing with client rejections comes very easy to me. And this is one of the reasons why I made this video. A client rejects me and then I feel bad because, no one wants rejection. And it's just something that we have to deal with in life. When that happens, maybe I start feeling bad and then I'm going to be like, okay, what's going on? And then my mind will be like, yeah, but you lost some money. And that makes me feel worse. And then when I realize that I lost some money, then maybe I'll start thinking, yeah, and now I can't buy that watch or that laptop that I wanted to, right? And then I'm going to feel even worse about that. And then I'm not going to feel good about myself because I can't make enough money. And then that reminds me that I'm not good enough. When that happens, that makes me feel even worse because it reminds me of something that I heard in my childhood, because we have a lot of imprints from our childhood. And when we didn't feel safe around money because we have a very tricky relationship with that. So then we feel bad about that as well. And so what happens is, as you see, that we create a new baseline. So this becomes our new mood because we are constantly in a negative state that our mind or our body, which is our unconscious memory, keeps generating from just one single event that started over here. But by the time we realize that we're in a bad mood, we don't even know what started it. And so we make a mistake. And that mistake is asking ourselves, okay, how do I get out of this? And usually what most people do, they try to run away from that feeling of feeling bad, right? When you're in a low mood, we tend to go for the instant gratifications. We tend to go to distract ourselves, to scroll on Instagram, to watch more YouTube videos, to eat things, to drink, to smoke, to whatever it is. And maybe you notice, but that doesn't help because the feeling is still there, or it gets stuck in our body or repressed, and then it tends to come out later. And then our unconscious will just repeat that pattern. Another mistake that most people make is trying to solve the bad mood or the problem while still in that negative state. And if this has happened to you, maybe you notice that when you're feeling down or not safe, or your mind is racing or anxious, you're not going to come up with any good solutions, right? So that's not going to be helpful. A third mistake, and maybe this is the worst one, is asking yourself, why am I feeling like this? And when you do that, you just keep creating more waves because maybe you say, yeah, and this always happens to me. And now another client, what if I'm not going to have enough money to pay rent? And then I'm going to have to ask for someone to loan me something, and that's going to make me feel bad and blah, 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 blah. So you see how this can go into a very vicious loop and cycle. So now let's switch into what can you do about it. So the first thing I want you to know is that according to neuroscience studies and other psychological studies, a state, a negative feeling, I use them interchangeably, but a negative emotion like anger, for example, or disappointment usually lasts between 30 to 90 seconds, maybe 3 minutes, and that's what 180 seconds, right? And what most people try to do is run away from that first negative feeling. And so instead of allowing this to just pass naturally, we try to suppress it. We try to ignore it. We try to, no, everything's fine, So we consciously try to use our mind to suppress what's going on in our body. And this is the first thing that you can do, which is one, notice that you got triggered. Like, I don't know, you saw a piece of news. So for example, when the war in Ukraine started, I was scrolling on Instagram and then I saw someone posting on stories a video about a tank that just ran over a car that was driving, but being driven by someone. So that was very powerful and really shocked me to the core. And I was like, man, why do people post these things, So that's an extreme example, but I'm just trying to show you that this is when you can notice that something changed your state. And when that happens, you take a pause, you breathe, because after you notice, you accept it. Okay, so my state changed. And I'm going to make a new video about that, because state change and self-regulation are very close connected. And it's very, very close to the work that I do. And I try to teach my clients. And so if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel. But accepting that you are in this state allows you to then change it, because you cannot change something that you're not accepting, right? Like awareness is the source of it. And accepting doesn't mean, like, oh, I'm just going to stay with it and feel bad for the entire day. No, it's like, okay, this happened, right? And now I'm going to use the best tools that I have at my disposal to change my state, right? And there are lots of ways to do that. And that's why I'm going to talk about in the next video. But, it's basically put your mind or your body or both in a state of safety, of relaxation, of creating some space for that emotion, which is energy in motion, to move through your body so that it can naturally and gradually pass. Like, think about it. If someone cut you off in traffic, and you get very angry and worked up about it, it can ruin your day. But then if you are like, you breathe through it, you just allow it to pass, right? It just naturally starts fading away, and then your body can come back to its baseline. So these are some of the things that you can do. Another thing that is a little more hard to do, but I gave you the example with the video about you from Ukraine, is try to intervene at this stage when you get triggered, because that's actually the point, right? When you get triggered. But if you can't notice when you got triggered and intervene immediately, you can notice anywhere at this point, when you are in a bad mood, as long as you don't ask yourselves these questions. You just go back to this. You notice, you notice that you're in a bad mood. You accept that this is what it is. And then you do something that changes your state. But there's one important thing that I want you to know. Changing your state does not mean thinking about something else or, immediately going on Netflix or scrolling or something to numb, to distract yourself, because that means that you haven't been through the noticing and the acceptance phases, which are essential to process our emotions, because this is what it's all about, right? It has to be something where, okay, I'm in a bad mood. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. It doesn't matter what triggered it. Maybe it's too late to figure that one out. That's something that you have to do when you are in a balanced, calm, reflective state, which is not in a bad mood, right? Don't distract yourself. That's one. And second, when you notice with compassion, notice with curiosity, because if you're fighting it, if you're like, oh no, I don't want to feel this, then you're not really noticing. You're just like, oh, running away and pushing it away. But what you resist persists. So that's not going to help you. And finally, that's when you go to the changing of state. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in that second video that I mentioned, which I'm going to link somewhere around here. So that's an invitation for you to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in this kind of things, because like I said, these are the topics that I was interested in and I needed when I was a lawyer and I started my business in 2017. So I needed that kind of stuff, right? I hope this was helpful to you. If not, please just drop your comments because I will answer each and every one of them. If you found this helpful, like it, because maybe this will show it to other people who will find this information useful and just help us all live a better life. So thank you very much for watching. And I hope this is going to help you break and get out of any bad moods that you have, because I just want everyone to live a good, happy life.